So many UX writers wonder if they should be an employed UX writer or a freelance UX writer. Some become freelancers because they can't find a position as an employed UX writer, but is this really the right thing to do? Let's talk about it. Hello everyone, my name is Kat and I teach people about writing in tech, and on this channel you will find everything that you need to know, especially about UX writing. So if you want to know more about that, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell. So one of the questions that I get a lot from my UX writing students is, what's better, being an employed UX writer or being a freelance UX writer? And luckily I've done both. I was a full-time employed UX writer and a full-time freelance UX writer, so I can tell you a little bit about both types of work because they definitely both have their advantages and disadvantages. Some of them are more general and we probably all know about them, and some of them apply to our specific field of UX writing. So let's discuss all of that, and in the end I will also share my personal advice on when to choose which type of work, because I have a very strong opinion about this. And let's start by talking about being an employed UX writer, and let's start with the benefits of that in the field of UX writing. So we probably all know that as an employed UX writer you have a certain level of security because you have regular payments, you have company benefits, and you have insurance, and so on and so forth. But this is what we already know, right? What's more interesting for us as UX writers is that as an employed UX writer you probably have a better environment to learn and grow, both professionally and personally. You will probably work with UX designers, with UX researchers, developers, project managers, and so on. Usually all these people already have experience with creating digital products, and they have certain processes in place, and you have the time in the room to try things, to test things, to optimize things, because you're not only here to write UX copy, but you're also here to contribute to making your organization run smoothly in the long run. So it's okay to suggest new things, to try new things, and even change some old things. As an employed UX writer, there is definitely room for that, and most of the time you are also encouraged to do that. And this also means that compared to working as a freelancer, you have a better chance to dive deeper into certain topics. So you might tell your team, hey, I need some extra time to do research on this and this topic, okay? Trust me, this is far easier as an employed UX writer compared to asking these questions as a freelancer. Moreover, you as an employed UX writer, of course, have it easier to become part of the team. You are involved in all team and company meetings, you are with them all day long, you work together with them full time, you have access to all company resources, etc. And you also have a better access to relevant stakeholders from other departments, such as marketing, the legal department, etc., which is quite important for your work as a UX writer, and which makes your work as a UX writer a lot easier. So being an employed UX writer can have a lot of advantages, but there are also a few disadvantages. Of course, compared to being a freelance UX writer, you are limited in your earnings. Your company will give you a certain salary and you can get promoted and you can get a raise, but only in alignment with your company's policy and willingness. The same applies to your working conditions. Your company gets to decide when you work and how much workload you have. And yes, you can talk to them and tell them, hey, it's too much, but it's definitely not like you work more hours, you earn more money. That is not the logic here. And usually we are financially dependent on our one employer. And I think we all know that this can be pretty tough. And it can be especially tough when we reach a point in our lives where we might need to take a break, like 1 or 2 months off, maybe just because you need some time for your family or your own mental or physical health. But how could we tell our boss, hey, I need to reduce my working hours, or I need to take a longer break for a couple of weeks? This is not as easy when you are an employed UX writer, because usually you have to work the hours you agreed on in your job contract from 9 to 5, no matter what. And lastly, being an employed UX writer may come with more security than being a UX writing freelancer, but we have seen that during recent layoffs in the tech industry, especially in 2023, UX writers quite often were amongst those who were laid off because copy and text still don't have the highest priority among UX and tech responsibilities. So these are the pros and cons of working as an employed UX writer. Now let's take a look at freelancing in UX writing. The benefits of freelancing in UX writing are the exact opposite. As a UX writing freelancer, you usually have a lot of freedom in your working conditions if you know how to create them. So you only work the hours you want and need to work, and if you have worked a lot for a couple of months and earned a lot of money, you can take some weeks off to relax or recover or whatever, which is probably one of the biggest benefits of freelancing. You also have the chance to work for different clients and diverse projects, which is great for staying flexible and independent, but it's also great for building your portfolio. And of course, you also get to learn a lot about different tools, industries, approaches, processes, products, team constellations, whatever, okay? But not only can you learn a lot, you can also earn a lot. Because if your freelancing business is in full bloom, you will definitely make a lot of money, because a lot of companies are looking for UX writers, but they don't want to commit to a full-time UX writing position. So freelancers are definitely in high demand. But of course, freelancing in UX writing also has a lot of disadvantages, because when you enter a company as a freelancer, you are expected to work and function from day one, babes. You have to know your craft, you have to know how to proceed, you have to know all your tools, you have to be able to organize yourself and manage yourself in every setting. You have to be able to find your way into new processes and tools fast. You are not supposed to learn here. You are supposed to make every hour count. So that comes with a lot of pressure, and generally clients have very high expectations. There is no room for you to learn about the craft, the tools, the processes, etc. You just have to work. Moreover, of course, as a freelancer, you have no paid sick leave, no paid vacation, and you don't only have to invest in understanding and mastering your craft, you also have to invest time and money in developing your personal brand and advertising your services and answering client requests, writing offers, writing invoices, etc. So you do a lot of work that is not paid at all. And many people you talk to will not end up as your clients, okay? This is just part of the game. Also, you will need to have very strong social skills, because you have to find your way into integrating into a team that you don't really belong to. You have to figure out how to deal with not being properly involved, not being able to talk to stakeholders directly. You have to stay calm, you have to stay diplomatic all the time, and stay okay, even if you might feel alone sometimes, because sometimes you're not part of the team, you are an additional human resource, okay? And ultimately, something that we already know, as a freelancer, you don't have a stable, regular income. You have to take care of that yourself. And even as a very, very good and experienced UX writer, you sometimes won't be able to find a new gig. And that's something you have to be prepared for, both financially and mentally. So, what is my advice for you? Very simple. Go for an employed position if you are new to UX writing, or if you want or need to polish your hard and soft skills. If you want to climb the career ladder, or if you want to become a leader and need or want a stable income and working environment. Hence, you best choose an employed form of working when you're at the beginning of your UX writing career, when you're willing to learn and you're in need of learning, and you want to dive deep into a certain product or industry. And on the other hand, go for freelancing if you already have a lot of experience, if you are very, very good at what you do, okay? If you enjoy working independently, if you have strong social and self-management skills, if you have the ability of and interest in switching projects often, have fun building a strong personal brand, and if you can deal with volatile income. And my most important advice here is, don't go into freelancing just because you cannot find a position as an employed UX writer. If you cannot find an employed position, try to find a position that is as close to UX writing as it gets, and keep on applying for UX writing jobs. But going into freelancing without having the skills and capabilities can financially ruin you, okay? It is definitely not just a plan B, and it can throw you off the track mentally if you don't have what it takes. And being a good, successful freelancer in whatever field takes a lot. And now please also note that it doesn't necessarily have to be either the one or the other. Maybe you work as an employed UX writer and you do some freelance projects on the side. I, for example, currently work as an employed UX writer on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursdays are for my freelance clients and Fridays are for my content production. So I kind of have the best of all worlds without having the worst of all of them. So definitely try out a few things to see what works best for you, but don't throw yourself into freelancing mindlessly, okay? As an overall rule of thumb, remember, it is your life quality, and your happiness and the happiness of your family and loved ones is what matters most, okay? And to ensure all that, a mixture of different factors is important. Good income, mental and physical health, freedom, and personal fulfillment, okay? These factors can shift in their proportional meaning, and their proportional meaning is also very different for each one of us, but definitely make sure that you figure out your very own personal mixture of these factors and also how to align your working life with that, okay? Because that brings us closer to a great quality of life, no matter if you work as an employed UX writer or a freelance UX writer. This is the ultimate goal. And I think these are very good words to complete this video. So thanks for watching. And hey, let me know in the comments whether you are a freelance or an employed UX writer and how you deal with the advantages and disadvantages so that we can all share our experiences and maybe knowledge, right? Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I also share free tips and tricks about especially UX writing. And other than that, there is nothing left to say for me except, as always, keep on writing, enjoy the process, and I hope to see you sometime soon.